Hey, lovely, lovely, wonderful people. A pleasant afternoon to you. So, beautiful people, I bought the Observer today, and it is quite compact. And I'm seeing something here that says, "Are we raising fickle children in Jamaica?" And fickle really basically means weak, not fit, basically, overall in every way that you can think of. It says, "Dear editor, a child signs up for football. 2 weeks later, the coach is too mean. He or she wants to quit. A homework assignment feels too hard, so it is left unfinished. A disagreement with a friend leads to immediate withdrawal instead of resolution." Seriously. Across homes and classrooms in Jamaica, these moments are becoming increasingly familiar. They're often dismissed as phases, personality traits, or simply how children are these days. That is why we can't find excuses for real, But taken together, they raise important. I think they really mean they raise an important question or they raise important questions. Are we raising children who struggle to stay committed, engaged, stay steady when things become difficult? One of the weaknesses that I've realized, and this has been a problem, it's not just today's generation. My generation, the generation after me, the generation before me, people do not like to have difficult conversations. People have dabbled and engulfed themselves in being superficial, being really tokenistic, being unreal. They hide because they feel like if they were to speak truth, they're going to have some kind of a combative verbal war. So what? And I'm not saying that we need to be, negative. I remember the guy that I was dating years ago, he said to me, "Toni-Ann, you have to have confrontations at times. Yes, conflicts are necessary. You have stages to it. Sometimes it has to be ugly before it gets better." And I'm not saying that you have to take people to hell, although sometimes you wonder, but I'm saying that it has to be hard. And we do not what's the word I'm looking for? Transcendental, what's his name of the word? I can't remember the word right now, but it continues time after time, generation after generation. It passes down, right? Is it more than just a passing phase? The word often used is fickle for children who shift quickly, lose interest easily, and disengage when faced with challenge. And challenges are key. Yet beneath that label is something more meaningful. This conversation first echoed in discussions by clinical psychologist Georgia Rose, who invites us to consider whether what we are seeing is not inconsistency, but difficulty tolerating discomfort. Because when children have not yet developed the capacity to sit with frustration, confusion, or failure, stepping away can feel like the only option, which is true, which is very much true. And I totally agree that it is not inconsistency, but a difficulty tolerating discomfort, and sometimes when you now become adults and you want your life to be better, oh my God, frustration says, "Come here, I'll stay with you for a while." Oh Lord, have his mercy. And trust me, you're going to go through the phases of being fed up to be frustrated. And sometimes God allows it to stay because he wants you to build up tenacity. And no matter what you do, it can't move. Today's children, and it says zero, the only option is zero. Today's children are growing up in an environment that is faster, louder, and more demanding than ever before. They're surrounded by instant access to entertainment, immediate rewards and gratification, multiple competing demands for attention, and constant stimulation and comparison. They don't know how to sit and enjoy boredom. Make boredom soak into them and them learn how to deal with it so that in any circumstances you will learn to be content. And don't get me wrong, there are moments when you're going to get fed up I said, God, I can't go through this no more. Me done. And then by the time you sleep a little bit or relax a little bit, settle a little bit, you say, all right, God, let me try again. And you wheel and come again. And then you may have a little lapse again and you wheel and come again and it continues, but you're not giving up. The overall or the underpinning moment and hypothesis is that you're not giving up. But this is not the same situation for children today. In such an environment, the ability to pause, persist, and push through difficulty is not automatic. It must be intentionally developed. Totally. I can tell you this from personal experience. It has to be. It has to be developed, and you don't want it in your adulthood. Oh my God, it's one of the worst feelings ever. Yeah, man. But it will come in. If it doesn't come then, it will come at a certain time. Imagine a child attempting to build a puzzle. At first, they're engaged. Then a piece does not fit. Frustration sets in. Now imagine that same child with access to a tablet just a few feet away. The moment discomfort arises, there is an easier alternative. One that requires no persistence. Over time, the brain begins to choose ease over comfort. And that contributes to the brain not being fully developed and them not being able to, you know, when you come across somebody who is a solid thinker, a critical thing, an acute, you know, savant, a great thinker, and knows how to stand the times or stay the course of difficulty, of resistances, of challenges, you know? So over time, the brain begins to choose ease over comfort. That is not because the child lacks ability. So now don't say them don'ts. Their brain is not used to the challenge and stay in the course of the challenge. But because the environment consistently rewards quick exits. It's serious, but it is true. Consider another common scenario. A child begins piano lessons. The early sessions are exciting, but as practice becomes repetitive and mistakes increase, motivation fades. The child asks to stop, and often the request is granted. This moment, though small, carries weight because what the child learns is not just about piano. They learn what something feels. When something feels difficult, I can walk away. And that is, do you see what is happening in relationships today? Marry you today, tomorrow I divorce you. Because we're having problems. Oh, I see the red flag. Oh, the red flag. No, I see the red flag right away. Let me leave before I get to. And when you look, sometimes the grass is not green on the other side. You drop somebody who had maybe 4 or, let's just say even 5, 50-50. 5 red flags, 5 green flags. And you leave. When you look, somebody has 2 green flags and 8 red. It's like the person leaving the person because they only have 80. And because of 20, just somehow it just looks appealing. And when you go out, you realize that them don't have the 80 or try come back. Men are mostly guilty of that. You know? And they leave too quickly. Now multiply that lesson across schoolwork, friendships, sports, and eventually work and relationships. What begins as flexibility can quietly move into avoidance. When children are not supported in building persistence, the effects may not be immediate, but they accumulate over time. We need to begin to see how frustration tolerance, difficulty completing tasks, emotional reactivity, and reduced confidence, without opportunities to persist and succeed, children miss the chance. Without opportunities to persist and succeed, children miss the chance to build a critical belief. I can handle hard things, which is very much true. This is not about blame. This is about criticizing parents. This is not about criticizing parents or caregivers. Jamaican families continue to show resilience, love, and deep commitment to raising their children. Can you imagine if the women were to follow men and leave children because the women had gotten frustrated? When I talk about statistics show that men this and that when they grow with women, think about if the women were not there when you fathers had left. Hats off. Congratulations, women. You have done a marvelous job. Many of you mothers, not all of you, many of you. But it is serious. Are we raising fickle children in Jamaica? Think about these things. Guys, you know what to do. Read TikTok and YouTube. Subscribe. Give me one of those likes and you can follow me on Instagram.